Blessed ones of the nations of the world. One more time, thus exhorted then Moses or say, El Sakode of TRC, Ghana, saying to you from the land of my exile, America. Well, because the guy is an African, he's been murdered. Just like his fathers and mothers were murdered in the land of America generations ago. And these generations, we have advanced, we have become wise, civilized, and yet more barbarous than the fathers. From that land, I want to welcome you to the program, Testimony, New World Disorder. But saying to yourself and I, you are welcome. Akwaba, Allen, Sahalen, Shagitam, welcome. Nganjoni, bem-vindo. I say you are welcome. Kuso, Diwo, Chusanyosenyo, Okukulaba, Mauya, Mingalaba, Boyei, Malamu, Karibu, Ekabo, no, o, Sanu, Dezua, Enkwang Ina, Mitash, Duburo, Prezalova, Bine Ivinit, Barigalos, Vita Iche, Aibon, Dobridoya, Welcome, Estan, Ozut, Walang Anuman, Bienvenido, Namaste, Swagetam, Kush, Amadid, Baruch, Haba, Mara, Haba, Wanyong Haminida, Wanying, Yejeko, Anime, Yejeko, We Zolo, Novio, Miawezo, Akwaba to the program, Testimony, New World Disorder, and Akwaba to what to do. Humanity and the nations of the world. This expose is coming to us on the 11th of September 2020, 19 years after humanity fell victim to terror in America by terrorists whose operation the intelligent forces of America were fully aware, and yet allowed an evil to be perpetrated against the land of America, and they didn't have the courage to go after the perpetrators of the crime, and yet cowardly went to attack the nation, Iraq, to show muscles and to show strength, which strength and power was nothing but wickedness and cowardly act. Akwaba to the program, Testimony, New World Disorder. Blessed ones of the nations of the world. Part 2, we shall hear what to do. This is our first expose in our new environment. We are on a mission to know what is being done to humanity and the nations of the world. Get it clear, well and good. Blessed ones of the nations of the world, that unfortunately, a whole UN Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, abused his office for his selfish ambition. And the worry thereof had to fall on the whole United Nations and his own superior, His Excellency Dr. Busumuru Kofi, who is not alive this day. At such empty casket funeral and burial on the soil of Ghana on the 30th of September 2018, Ban Ki-moon did not show up. The US President John Donald Trump did not show up. The then US Ambassador to the United Nations, my friend, beautiful friend of mine, Nikki Haley, did not show up. Humanity and the nations of the world. What has happened to humanity? What has happened to the United Nations? What has happened to the world at the hands of the new terrorists is unprecedented in the human history. We should not be surprised as to why Ban Ki-moon and the cliques, with whom for 10 years he continued to allow Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to pursue hate crime against this African, to put in pursuit of his dynasty political ambition, while His Excellency Ban Ki-moon secretly sought his political ambition after the 10 years of mandate given to him by humanity, which he was not content with, must go take the throne of South Korea, which they were treacherously playing humanity politically at the expense of the life of a Ghanaian with this US undercover agent. And that evil had been done to the loss of the life of Kofi Annan, which thing can never be admitted in the open to anybody. You dare admit to it or want to go into it too much, and not the United Nations, the brains behind the global evil, they will kill you. That is why the same forces had to issue out global order. Global order under the new world disorder, which they call it order, to put the whole of humanity into a lockdown under a global fiasco, which they called COVID-19. Initially, which they named coronavirus, which time their smartness is trying to let them erode from our mind the coronavirus and must loud into our minds COVID-19 to hide the roots of the coronavirus, which agenda was set in Ghana using exploiting my own family members. Not my family members, but these global cliques. According to the program testimony, world disorder. Ghana, humanity, and the nations of the world, we, the people of the nations of the world, have been scammed. The biggest atrocity against humanity has been committed. We suffered at 9/11. Worse than 9/11 is happening to us 19 years after 9/11. And the whole of the human race, the global evil continue against us in all treachery and in all diabolical manner. And we are all helpless. You would ask that, okay, why couldn't nations resist and expose this global agenda? Get it clear. Whoever stands against, whichever nation stands against a global order, you are an enemy of the global order. You do that at the expense of your life. All must comply to. That is why we saw nations falling to the same order. It must so be. Don't forget that initially, His Excellency Donald Trump tried to kick against it, although he had his life being spared. Somebody, you are told that the greatest president or greatest man in the world is the US. Forget it. That is junk. It doesn't stand when it comes to the global evil at stake. You understand? He had his life spared. Pierre Nkurunziza of Burundi, when he spoke too much, they killed him and tried to brand him that he has suffered from the same thing, that the same fiasco. Akwaba to the program, testimony, new world. They have killed me, so I don't fear death. Gabriel Jesus, the Indian of the World Health Organization, he is the biggest criminal that the world has ever seen. And we want to tell him peacefully, not weapon, not violently, that we are not going to accept this hate crime against African, which has been perpetrated against everything that is called law. These crimes were committed against humanity and against the noble African people, and not the World Health Organization boss, not His Excellency Ban Ki-moon, not Nana Addo Akufo Addo. None of them is going to be allowed to get away with these atrocities. We must demand accountability for what has been done to humanity. Otherwise, we are dead. They shall continue to do worse than 9/11, worse than what we are suffering now to us. And not the church, not the mosque, not the Senate, not the synagogue. None of us shall be able to stand up for God and for the human race. We must demand accountability as to how they decided that upon all the evils done for years in the name of 9/11, how did they come to the conclusion that it is this African that they must use to further the next global agenda, to kill on the innocent, to kill his people of Ghana, to kill his family members, kill his pastor, kill his diplomat, kill his politician, kill his religion? How did they arrive at that? They arrived at that as a result of the total disregard for the African people as equal humans, which evils of generations continue to play in our history up to this day. And humanity says that we shall never accept it. If Nana Addo Akufo Addo must elevate his tribe, his lineage, his clan at the expense of Ghana, African people must have their rightful place in the human world. Period. It's what humanity and God is saying to them. An unprecedented evil has been done in the human world. Humanity has been exploited. Don't you ever dream that anybody would come to tell you that come out of your marks. Don't dream of that. Don't dream that anybody can come to tell you that the lockdown is over, you are free. Don't ever dream of that. You are a victim, I'm a victim. The United Nations is a victim at the hands of global cliques. Who have continued to terrorize an African against everything that is called law. The World Health Organization boss, Mr. Hu, recruited his nationals, Pakistanis, and Bangladesh, to collude with him, with them, to further the global evil. You see the 7-Eleven company at the expense of the blood of an African and his 2 tortured and abducted children. And we, the people of the nations of the world, want to tell Mr. Gabriel Jesus that the African people are not Jawares. Humanity is no Jawares. The Jawaras of India, they are equal humans to every Indian and to every member of the human race. They should not take their fellow humans as animals and keep them in the forest and think that there is no brain in the heads of humanity. And they can do to us as they do to the Jawares, the innocent Jawares. This is the voice of the African on the behalf of the Jawares of India, talking to Mr. Who the cap fits. Wear it. Announcement. The United Nations is a victim. Whenever I talk about the cutting short of the life of Kofi Annan, don't you ever feel that the United Nations is colluding and had a hand in the elimination of Kofi Annan? It is global evil force which is more powerful than the United Nations that is behind that evil. That is why the moment my petition went to the United Nations asking for a probe, an inquiry, an inquest into the death and the burial of Kofi Annan, and a copy went to the US Justice Department, the man that says he's the most powerful man in America, Trump, in guilt of what has happened, had to remove the Attorney General, Mr. Matthew Whitaker, quickly from the US Justice Department as the Attorney General of the US. Remove him because the document has gotten to the US Justice Department and it cannot be sat upon. It has gotten to the office of the Attorney General. It cannot be sat upon. So the only smart thing they could remove the Attorney General. So the department has no knowledge of the inquiry, the inquest that is being demanded within a matter of weeks. When I made that inquiry to the United Nations and I sent a copy to the US Justice Department, that is when Donald Trump removed the man. And the rest have been the plane of humanity, plane of America, plane of the nations of the world. They must kill an African. Because I'm not a woman. Because I'm not an American citizen. Because I am an African. Because Christ is my Lord. What to do? The book of John. Let's go. If the families of the victims of 9/11, with the people of Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Ghana, Nigeria, Russia, America, the nations of the world, shall ever come out of this global evil, and we shall have courage to stand against this global wickedness. What to do is to understand that it is true, we were not recovered from the worry of 9/11. We're still struggling to come out of it. We're still living with the effect of slavery and human enslavement. we're still living with the we are still living the cancer, the nonsense of Ebola, the bullshit of Zika virus. As we go on, we'll get to know the chronological order for years. How long that institution called World Health Organization, haters and the cliques of Ban Ki-moon have used the institution with cliques from the world, from the Ministry of Health, Ghana, have played the world. Each time the guy wants to speak up against their evil, they must step on the health sector to come to kill the guy, and they have used the same health guy to kill the innocent in Ghana. Yet they haven't been able to succeed to kill the African, because the African's life is not in their hands. If things shall get better, what we need to understand is we are still living in our state of helplessness. The consequence of slavery and human enslavement, we're living with it. The effects of 9/11, we're living with it. We are living with cancer. We are living with famine. We are living with malaria. Yet, fellow humans which we trust to be there for us did not care. And in our most weakest point, that is when they decided to come at us and to strike us dead. Huh? What we are saying is, at the weakest point of your business, at the weakest point of the family, at the weakest point of the church, at the weakest of that mosque, that synagogue, at the weakest point of that nation, when you would expect help to come, don't be surprised when fellow men, wicked forces, decide to finish your business one time, wipe out the family one time, wipe out your tribe, and wipe out your brong that you are, because you are a brong. They must put their tribes over your tribe. At your most weakest point, they will come to destroy your business, to come to destroy your academic institution, come to destroy your nation. But amidst all this, their evil intent shall not stand. Have that understanding. And God's help for you shall come when they waste not. Did you hear? If the world will change, become better, know that at your most weakest point, when you expect you are at the point of death, your business is at the point of collapse, no hope. Every sign shows that there is no life. And every time shows that the family, your mother has died, your brother has died, your sister has died, the family is going down. And you expect that there will be help from the nation, help from the community. And that is when armed robbers are breaking. That is when the mortuary men want to exploit you and let the body of your father, your mother, or your father decay at the mortuary because you cannot pay for it. But amidst all that, God will help you. And that help, they waste not. They cannot do anything about it. John 19. How is it sounding in the ears of Gabriel Jesus, the racist of India? Says the African. Stop the hatred. I'm reading from John 19, from the 27th verse. Then said he to the disciple, this is Jesus, his body has been raped, he has been persecuted, he has been disfigured, they have planted nail in his hands and his toe, he is hanging on the cross, bleeding all over the body. He looked at the face of the mother, standing there helpless, and the mother could not help him. He looked at the faces of his disciples, standing there helplessly, and they could not help him. And he asked for help. I read, then said he to the disciple, that is John, you are talking to John, behold thy mother. And from that hour, that disciple took her unto his own home. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, said, I thirst. Kumayemi, nyahaminumanu, nyangwemi, oh, nyawabimo. That was Jesus. He asked for some water to drink before he died. Let's read on. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it to his mouth. Shall not go further. You know who did this? These were the soldiers. These were the people that were supposed to protect the people of the nation, protect the citizens of the nation. They're the people that were supposed to protect the state and the people of the state. They have become terrorists, and they were terrorizing a citizen of the nation, a member of the nation. And when that member of the nation is asking that, oh, I need water to drink, in his most helpless, he was dying. He asked for water. The protectors of the state, the protectors of the people of the nation, just like the Mangomi, Germantown police. The soldiers have colluded with terrorists, and they were terrorizing Jesus on the cross. He asked for water. They decided to give him poison and to kill him fast. You know what? Jesus, shut up. If you don't know, we are killing you. Our intention is to kill you. Keep quiet and die on the cross. You are talking too much on the cross. 7 words on the cross. That is all junk to us. You want water, we'll give you poison at your most weakest point. This same Jesus should have died when he fell with the cross. God intended that the man must die on the cross. So God divinely sent Simeon of Cyrene by divine intervention. No soldier could stop that help because God has ordained it to be so. And Jesus got to the cross. The help for your business, the help for that academic institution, the help for that community, the help for that nation, the help for that people, the help for your people shall come at the hand of God. No politician can stop it. No diplomat can stop it. No intelligence force can stop it. No police officer can stop it. No military officer can stop it. It is coming from God. In fact, the police officer might seek to kill you. They might seek to poison you quick. They might seek to make up medical records with hospital facility. Holy cross. Holy what? Cross. you. But there is a holy God who rose from the cross. And the cross could not hold him captive. He would come to your aid. Announcement. Ghana, at the time when I was bleeding to death, and I have approached my national embassy for help. My terror government, Nana Addo Akufo and his administration, have decided that the Ghanaians should be brought home and I should be cut off and I should be murdered in America. Okay. In Ghana, they decided to cut me off, that I'll be no part of the nation Ghana. Because Akufo must die in a foreign land, in a strange land. Africa, I must say this. The government of Nana Addo Akufo was so evil enough to turn my friends, my lovers, my loved ones, my precious ones against me, to get me blackmailed. I didn't hear that. To get me blackmailed at the point where I was bleeding. That even my property in the land of Ghana shall be theirs. Don't you forget. They cast lots, and soldiers became criminals and cast lots on the vesture of Jesus. They tore it apart. They gambled over the garment of my Lord. The evil of the government of Nana Addo Akufo Addo, its kind has not been in the history of the world and in the history of Ghana. But I want to tell Ghana that God is not blind to this evil. He's only being merciful to the nation. Not that the government is smarter than God. You have been told the airport has been opened. So if I want, I should come to Ghana. Use the salary of Nana Addo Akufo to buy an airline ticket and come to Ghana if I want to. So the government of Ghana owes me no responsibility. And they must take over my property in my land, turn my loved ones and my friends against me to get me blackmailed. Why they made me in a foreign land. May the judgment of God spare you, friend, you loved one, and all who chose to get me blackmailed. In the time of my death, when I am bleeding, you chose to give me poison that I die quick. May the Lord have mercy on you. But Nana Addo Akufo Addo, God says I should tell you, if you try to take your hatred for me beyond how far you have taken it to the Nigerian people, if you dare try to touch my income, if you dare try to trouble the Nigerian people, don't be shocked if the God of the Bible kill you on the throne before the national elections. God says I should tell you this, whether you hear it or not. It is up to you. can decide to trouble the innocent. God will trouble you. I don't owe your US undercover agent. And you better know that the good news to humanity and to the Ghanaian people is that there is no law in America, no law international, no human being in America, no human being in Ghana anywhere that has the right and can impose an enemy of an innocent man or woman upon the innocent in marriage. This undercover agent, America, I say it on the behalf of the African people, the politicians of this land, that they can continue to wreck their nation. And watch on for terrorists to tear down the land and let hatred take over the nation. One thing I know, that if these crimes were committed by an African against an African, by a Caucasian against an African, by a Hispanic against an African, somebody will call for justice. Nana Addo Akufo cannot pay for his crimes or the evils of the past perpetrated against humanity with the life of a Ghanaian, because Nana Addo Akufo does not own any Ghanaian life. You have heard that the pursuit of his agenda to take over the throne of Ghana, to put his people in where he believed they must be in Ghana. He has done that at the expense of the Ghanaian people, declaring born citizens of Ghana non-Ghanaians to prevent them from exercising their franchise, while his commissioner, without shame, in the soil of South Africa, tells the Ghanaian people that they are more Ghanaians than other Ghanaians. This is the price of hatred and the roots, how much dangerous hatred is. I shall not go further. What to do is, even your helpers may decide to give you poison at your most weakest point. Just like the carriers of poison, the German town police, who violate their constitution to terrorize an African, who violate their constitution to let terrorists operate against their own state, who wear bombs provided by the taxpayer money, yet without regard for their own people and their own state. And they, by hatred, collude with foreign forces to let terrorists operate against the innocent of the nations of the world, because the innocent that are being killed, they are non-Americans, but they are Americans that know that such mentality is backward, is primitive, is archaic, is originate from if you do that, you are uncool. Police officer, sure, these Africans are not fear your faith. God bless you. Somebody, God bless my homeland Ghana. Let's end here. We shall continue. God willing, we must make time to finish the revision of the book Occupy Till I Come. So at least once a week, this expose shall continue. God bless you and God bless our